morning, and welcome to Investment Talk TV. And now, with the latest information on the stock market, your investments, and retirement opportunities, here is LPL Financial Advisor Paul Meyers.
Hey, a big good morning and welcome to you wherever you are on this incredible day after Valentine's Day. Gosh, it's like a week after Super Bowl. I mean, February is just rolling along. I'm Paul Meyers, LPL Financial Advisor from Legacy Wealth Management, and wherever you are today, we are happy you've joined us. Man, we have got a full house with us today. I have three people in the building here and another one on Zoom. So good morning to you, Steve Poitras. Good to see you.
Well, thank you, Paul. Good to see you. I'm really excited about the guests we're going to have on today, as well as we're pretty darn happy about the recent spell of spring-like weather. It may not hang on, but it's good right now.
Yeah, that has been good. And good morning, Dave McGatlin.
Well, good morning, Mr. Myers. Good morning, Steve. I'm rocking the pink tie in honor of Valentine's Day. And speaking of spring, that means baseball season. Super Bowl's over. Baseball season right around the corner.
The pitchers have reported, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
And then the catchers came along, too, to retrieve the ball.
I would hope so. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of practice going to grab
We've got, you just saw there for a quick second our first major guest in the studio, and that is Merrill Piepkorn. Good morning, Merrill. Good to see you.
Always fun to be with you, Paul, and quite a lively crew you got with us today, including our guest via Zoom.
Yeah,
looking forward to talking with her.
Going to be good. We are going to have with us in a few minutes, we've got Jessie Veeder, and one of the reasons we have both Jessie and Merrill with us today is because there's an event coming up in a week. On Saturday in the Dilworth area and on Sunday in Bismarck. We're going to get to all that information. But folks, wherever you are this morning, and I know pretty much you must be in front of your television sets, I got that figured out. If you're watching us today, just a reminder, you can always give us a call at 701-365-8083. Or you can send us an email via that internet thing at team@legacywealthfargo.com. We would love to talk with you. Man, have we had a lot of people coming in this week. Dave, you and I and Devin, there's hardly a let-up. It's pretty much every day of every week.
That's right. We've been really busy. People with all kinds of questions. It's tax season coming up. We're getting a lot of tax questions. People that are kind of seeing those interest rates start to drop with some of those CDs. What do we do with that? Been talking a lot about that.
Yeah. And, Steve, towards later on in the show, we'll talk about what the stock market's been doing, for the week in review if we get time. But
at this point in the week, it's getting beat up pretty bad.
It is getting beat up. But what's amazing is we had a pretty rough first couple of days of February, and then all of a sudden the sun came out and things were going up like mad. And I think the Dow Jones crested well over 50,000.
Yeah, since has gone down some, but yes, over 50,000. That was the last.
Or as Pam Bondi said, $50,000. She didn't know what it was, but that's okay. In any case, the markets have been doing pretty well, and we take a breather every once in a while. We're going to talk more about that. But right now, we're going to take a look back in history with the Legacy Week in History.
Because whatever mankind must undertake. I have a dream.
We often talk about the YouTube because we are on the YouTube, aren't we?
We
Dave?
are.
You can find us. We're archived on YouTube, and that's pretty cool. But how does YouTube fit into our This Week in History?
Well, it's pretty awesome. We're going back more recent history, obviously. Valentine's Day in 2005, just 26 years ago. Basically, we are to the point where YouTube is officially introduced on the internet. Despite what a lot of people know about YouTube, it was actually introduced as a dating site where people could record themselves, advertising themselves, I guess. The idea flopped so badly that YouTube instantly switched gears, turning it into cat videos and, of course, Investment Talk TV.
You can find just about anything you want to on YouTube. And what's amazing is now they're getting into live and stream television, I understand. In fact, I think it's one of the more consulted platforms for watching movies and videos. And there are a lot of people who just sit and scroll through YouTube.
That's right. You can spend all day doing it. 122 million people log into YouTube every single day, and their revenues are in excess of $60 billion, which I did the math is $2,000 per second.
Holy moly, that's a lot. Well, seriously, we talk about watching us obviously on Sunday mornings like you are, but you can also catch us on YouTube. Simply search for Legacy Wealth Fargo or Investment Talk TV. You kind of have to scroll around a little bit, though, because there's way too many other firms out there who've kind of piggybacked on our name or find a way to get on there. But you know what? Seriously, if you happen to miss an episode or if you'd like to drive yourself crazy and watch 10 episodes in a row, you can do that. And you just go onto YouTube, and it's kind of a neat deal. You get to look us up. And there is some talk that we're going to add and expand our platform use and footprint, and maybe we'll get to that someday. But in the meantime, we're happy to have you on board with us today. And don't forget, you can always reach us by giving us a call at 701-365-8083 or by sending us an email at team@legacywealthfargo.com. And we'd love to help you. There's no charge to give us a call or to come in and see us. And boy, we've got 3 advisors in there and a staff of about 10 people and a dog. And now that Valentine's Day is over, she's fully recovered now. She's doesn't have to wear red bows around the office anymore, so that's a good deal. In any case, you can always get a hold of us. Steve, we always turn to you to do our agenda. What do we have this week in the agenda?
We'll have a quick stock market snapshot. The main event today, interviews with Jessie Veeder and Merrill Piepkorn. 5 points in 5 minutes. The viewer mailbag. Stock market week in review. Do you think we'll get to all of it? It'll be a first time.
Yeah, we're going to get to all that. It's going to be fun. We might even do the viewer mailbag. That would really be good if we do that. Mm-hmm. That would be exciting. Let's take a look at one of my favorite features because it has a little music from Chicago. We call it the Stock Market Snapshot.
Here's the Legacy Wealth Management Stock Market Snapshot. A quick look at the stock market and the investment world in the last week.
Well, it's a stock market snapshot, and what more could you want? Steve, true or false, every week I say, oh my gosh, what a week it's been.
And we often refer to the inflection point.
Yes, right? We talk about the inflection point, and I'm not so sure we had an inflection point, but think about it, guys. Here we are. We've moved into 2026, I know that much, and the market was doing pretty well in January. Then it took a little bit of a dive towards the end of January and early February. Then it popped back up. And then as of Thursday, it was a little weaker.
Yeah, but in the meantime, in recent days, it had hit over 50,000, quite a mark on the Dow Jones. I think the NASDAQ, the tech stocks, they're particularly in something of a sell-off. I think the NASDAQ is on its way to its 4th negative week in a row.
Right. Mm-hmm. But you know what's funny about that, and Dave, you and I have talked about this any number of times, all during 24 and 2025, the rumors of the death of technology, in my opinion, were somewhat premature, as W.C. Fields would have said. Technology just kept bouncing back. So maybe it will come back again.
Yeah, that technology field right now in the start of this year, you look at the S&P 500 chart, it looks like a bouncing ball. You kind of just keep going along. But those tech stocks kind of getting beat up here recently, but a lot of their earnings have come out now. Wall Street digesting that. Investors in Wall Street kind of looking at that going, is this AI kind of getting played out too much? Are these companies kind of in over their heads? But right now, the important thing to remember, their revenues are there. So technology, probably onward and upward. We'll see how it kind of pans out.
I think there'll be a big deal here coming up in about a week when NVIDIA reports its earnings. They are always the 10,000-pound gorilla in the corner of the room. And we still have a lot of faith in technology. I mean, it's still up pretty high. The other day when it had retreated, I noted it had retreated to about 10 days earlier, to the point where it was 10 days. So we're not really having huge retreats. I do notice that large caps are getting shaken up a little bit. We've got a lot of good ideas that we think are going to be doing well in the markets going forward, and we'd love to have you give us a call, speak to Dave, speak to Devin. Don't talk to me because I'm too confused some days. But we'd love to have you give us a call, and we talk about the areas that we think might make the most sense for you going forward. Speaking of sector performance and rotation, I know energy stocks have been doing pretty well, which is interesting because when we get a chance to talk to Jessie, she's coming from the kind of the epicenter of the energy world in North Dakota. That should be pretty interesting. What about consumer confidence, Dave? That's consumer confidence has been a big deal for the economy for the last 15 years.
That's right. When we talk about consumer confidence, we're always looking at that as kind of a benchmark to see where Americans are kind of, how confident are they in their future and spending habits, which obviously is a big catalyst for which direction the stock market's going to go. Believe it or not, consumer confidence right now is at its lowest point since basically the lockdown started during COVID back in 2020. So pretty interesting that we've actually dropped to that point, but yet the stock market kind of floating with those all-time highs back and forth. Interesting dynamic.
Yeah, we feel pretty confident. We've also got some strategy ideas in mind. It's not just sit back and take it, whatever gets handed to you. We've got some strategy. And if you're out there wondering what to do with your investments or your retirement account, or maybe you have retirement accounts that need some education or some rollover, you can always give us a call. We'd love to share with you what our strategy is and how we think that you may be able to avoid some of the challenges out there and take advantages of some of the opportunities that exist at the same time. I think we even have a slide of our 3 charts and how they've been doing over a recent time period. There they are. The indexes combined for the last week. That looks like an art project I did in the 3rd grade. I don't know. It's kind of huddled together. I see the Dow Jones is showing up for a 1%, and the NASDAQ is also, well, they're all 3 up for the last week anyway. That's prior to Thursday when it was a bit of a rumble in the
Jungle.
Rumble in the jungle,
rumble in the jungle. Well, let's get back to real things happening, and we're going to take a look at our next main segment, and that is we get to talk about an upcoming concert and introduce some of our favorite people. Let's bring in Jessie Veeder right now. There she is in the poster, but Jessie, let's go to you live, and we get a chance to see what you look like. There she is, direct from the farm near Watford City. Is that right, Jessie?
That's where I am today. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you on board as well. So Jessie, that was a nice picture. You look like, are you actually out on the farm today?
I am. Yes, I'm home. Well, mostly because my daughter is sick. But yeah, usually I'm running all over the place. But today I'm home. So happy to be talking to you from the best place.
The ranch out there near Watford City. Well, very cool. We're going to talk more about that ranch and about what you got going on. What kind of, now, did I read right? You raise cattle out there as well as your kids, I understand.
That's right. Cattle and kids and cats and hamsters and lizards and goats and all of the things. But we run a herd of Angus cattle. So.
Very good. Very good. Jessie, we are joined today by a good friend of yours and somebody who's going to be involved in a couple of concerts coming up, and that would be Merrill Piepkorn. There's Merrill right there looking good with his best bolo tie on this morning, and that's good. Guys, let's take a look at that slide of your concert performance coming up that we just had up there, because we should, I think, take a second and give a plug to that. Now, coming up on Saturday, February 21st, Merrill, why don't you take us through that? Saturday, February 21st, tell us about the times and the locations.
I'll do that. It's a joint concert between Jessie Veeder and my band, the Radio Stars. We're each going to do a set, and then we'll do a great set together. It's really fun to play with Jessie Veeder. And the Moorhead concert, or Dilworth, it's right across the street from Moorhead is Dilworth, the TAC Music Center, TAC Event Center, TAK TAC Center. It's going to be at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, February 21st. And, you know, these winter days, it's kind of nice to have those daytime concerts.
Yeah.
It's easier for everybody to get around, and, those are just great hours for us to do. And you can get advance tickets, I would suggest that, at tacmusicvenue.com. That's TAK musicvenue.com. And if you get them in advance, you can get a discount on your tickets. There could be some available at the door, of course, on Saturday afternoon, the 21st.
Now, that's the Saturday show.
That's the Saturday
Merrill,
show.
But then you've got another big one coming up the next day.
It's another venue we've played often. You know, Jessie is from Watford City, which is western North Dakota, out there in the Badlands, a little closer to Bismarck than Fargo is, but Jessie's always eager to make the trip out east for her fans and for our band as well. But that concert's going to be at the Heritage Center Auditorium. The Heritage Center is our state museum, and it's on the Capitol grounds. It's a great theater, the Sidney J. Lee Auditorium, and there's no admission charged, but we will be passing the KFC buckets, you know, the big buckets, for donations. So free will donations, and we couldn't do that concert without the people participating that way. but we can do this concert because of financial support from people like you, Legacy Wealth Management, and of course Forum Communications, where you can find Jessie Veeder's column in the Forum and other papers around too. So everybody loves Jessie, and we couldn't do this without your sponsors.
We're kind of zooming along in time, and I personally think that our viewers out there today would get a real kick out of having a chance to see Jessie perform live during our television, or not live, but during our television program anyway, and that'll maybe entice you to want to come and see the concert as well. Jessie, we have one of your award-winning music videos that you put together. Could you give us about a 20-second introduction to that, and then we're going to watch a wonderful music video.
This is a video called Red Barns and People Get Old off my album Yellow Roses. And it is an award-winning video, just won the 2025 award from the American Academy of Western Artists. But it tells a story sort of my dad's legacy coming home to take over the ranch after his father died. And it is a generational ranching story. It features Carol Mickelson, who's an actress out of Fargo area, one of the cowboys who works for us actually, and my daughter is in it, sort of representing my character. And I love this song and this story and how well it was produced by a local film production company. And I'm very proud of it. I think it's resonated with a lot of people in agriculture that are taking over family ranches or who have had that story in their lives in some way or another.
So for our television viewers out there today, sit back, enjoy the next few minutes. A great video that's definitely very North Dakota in all of its roots. So with that, let's watch Jessie Veeder's award-winning music video.
Off, boy, I just mop the floor. Hang up your head now, come sit on down. I've got the coffee on, so nice to have you around. I've lived here almost all my life. He was a good man, boy, I was a good wife. Sometimes I catch myself fixing his cup. I lay his best shirt out. But when time's up, it's just up. When time's up, it's just up. You and me, we've got clover in our skin. We've got dirt under our nails. And horses to tend. You and me, we don't ever sleep. We've got roots that run deep, and a promise to keep, a promise to keep. Done my best to keep the hay crop up and the cattle fed. This life isn't easy without him around. It is the same kind of quiet, just lonelier now, just lonelier now. Promise to keep. Sometimes he comes back, his words out your lungs, his seat in your saddle, his hands in your gloves. It could be a burden to inherit the work, but when God's in the tall grass, you live in his church, you live in his church, you live in his church. To tend you and me, we don't ever sleep. We've got roots that run deep, and a promise to keep, a promise to keep, a promise to keep. Children leave home, red barns, and people get old, people get old.
Wow, that's quite a video, and fun to see it in its entirety here on the air. And I hope you folks at home enjoyed that as much as we did in the studio. Jessie, what a treat! And I was thinking about interesting things to ask you about. Some of the influences on your music career. What would some of those be?
Well, I grew up singing alongside of my dad, and I think that's why Merrill and his group resonate so much with me, these traditional songs, but also the music that was sung in our basement and on his red guitar and just, in our living room, Harry Chapin and Bruce Springsteen and Emmylou Harris and Nancy Griffith. These were all storytellers, Lyle Lovett. And I really fell in love with storytelling. And I don't know that I would be doing this if it weren't for that. That's what Red Barns essentially is. And then I got to take it to the screen with Quantum Productions out of Bismarck, which I love to do. That's a whole nother, element of the creative process. But I just fell in love with songs that told the story, especially about rural America, John Prine in particular was one big influence for me. These everyday people, I think, have more in them. There's more of a story, there's more drama, there's more a tragedy in our everyday lives that needs to be sung about. And that's what I try to do in my music and in my column. I think that's important.
Jessie, that's a great answer. And Dave and I are not too much in the way of musicians or artists, but it's interesting because we get a similar experience at our office talking to people who come into us, and one of the things we say is that every day somebody comes in to talk to us and they all have a story. Mm-hmm. And this video tells a pretty common story. Merrill, it's going to be interesting for you also to be sharing the stage. You've had quite a career, a state senator, done a lot of things in your life, traveled around as a musician, and here you are.
Couldn't ask for a better life, and for which we're very grateful for. And then to meet the acquaintance of people, like the greatest talent or my greatest asset as a person is the crowd I run with, the people I know and work with, people like Jessie and others. But, speaking of the music, that's part of it, a big part of it. And, you get somebody like Jessie Veeder. She's a great singer, but she writes her own songs. And she's a well-known artist and highly awarded, but she's a community leader. She's a real Renaissance woman. She's a leader in Watford City. She, I think the term ranch wife is kind of outdated. She's a rancher.
Yeah.
A managing partner in many cases when women are in agriculture these days. And she's a community leader heading up the Long X Arts Foundation.
I want to talk about that, Jessie, for a minute, because we get very interested and concerned with how Central and Western North Dakota is doing with regard to the oil industry. It's been obviously a huge impact on the Watford City area, huh?
Oh, absolutely. I came right on the back home from being out touring and working, and was able to come back to the ranch because of the oil boom and the economic activity. I was raised in Watford City in the 90s when this was the opposite thing happening in our small towns. So for me, it's not a black and white thing. I grew up where there were no jobs in McKenzie County, and now we're bursting at the seams. But I will say, that was 10 years of going from 1,200 people to 10,000 people overnight. We have established ourselves as a community that young people want to come and raise their kids in. And I'm very proud of that. I have been involved with wonderful community leaders who have made that their priority. Mm-hmm. So we have new schools. We have the median age is 32 years old.
Wow.
You have a soccer program that's 400 kids deep. It's insane. I never would have seen that coming, but I'm loving that for my kids and the opportunities that it provides them growing up in a place that just makes room for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that every day.
Dave?
Jesse, yeah, I was actually listening. I think you wrote a song about this called Boomtown, right?
I did. Right on the cusp of when the boom was really hitting hard. And you were talking about this before we went on air, where you could not get into Watford City because there was no real bypass. And I remember standing on the corner of 85 and the visitor center, and you couldn't see the end of the truck line. It was just trucks coming into town to take that 85 to Williston. And it was endless, and it was frustrating for people, but it was also like these people were coming from all over the world to have a better life in Watford City. And I saw those stories every day, and Boomtown was just trying to take little snippets of those people's lives and say, hey, we're not just a statistic here. We're not just a New York Times article that says don't come here because it's dangerous and it's all young men. We're families really trying something and trying to make a better life for themselves. And I'm a, great granddaughter of a Norwegian immigrant. So I always said it was the Wild West, and it felt like that.
Yeah. Jesse, a lot of people in the eastern half of the state are still wondering if the boom is going on out there. And I think in a word or two, you'd say, yeah, it's still pretty busy, huh?
Yes. Yeah, we're still growing. We still have job openings. We still have a housing sort of crunch that we're trying to figure out. We just built a new daycare center. We'll probably, don't quote me on this, probably have to build another elementary school, a third elementary school. Wow. So, yeah, it's crazy. Okay. And it's great.
Well, Jesse, thank you so much for joining us today. Just a reminder, we've got Merrill Piepkorn of the Radio All-Stars plus Jessie Veeder coming up on Saturday the 21 at the TAC Music Center in Dilworth, and also on Sunday the 22 at the Heritage Center in Bismarck. Hey, you know what? We are out of time. For Dave and Steve and Merrill and all the rest of us, thanks so much for tuning in to Investment Talk TV. We'll be back next Sunday.